Hi guys! So, oh my god, what a day. What a fucking day it's been. First, I thought I was going to sit down and be making a Eugene Yukoni video today about the whole death hoax bullshit thing going on. Still plan to, by the way. Then my news app went off and went, hold my fucking beer. Roger Waters might be going to prison for 14 years. So I was literally in the act of sitting down and setting up to film that one today. And then a surprise contender entered the ring. I was like, it's too good, we're doing this. And this one came by way of my bestie making an anonymous post in the official Paul McCartney fans Facebook group. Basically just to watch the world burn. And I was actually considering making a video about this topic myself even before she did that, but hadn't quite decided what I wanted to say yet. But she puts it so much more eloquently than I could have, and it pretty much echoes exactly what I was gonna fucking say anyway. I got her permission to make a video out of this, by the way, so it's not like me just stealing someone else's work. No, I got her permission. But I'm not name-dropping to, preserve anonymity. But, Anna, we're in the same boat on this one. And she is not being a hater towards Paul McCartney at all. She literally just dropped $2,300 yesterday on a ticket to see him. So, I don't want to fucking hear it from anybody. I did say I'll be reporting back with the replies, though. So, be good. Anyways, the post, as it reads. It's beautiful. Chef's kiss. So, it reads. So this may be unpopular, but after the ticket sales yesterday, there have been tons of posts and comments about how unfair the ticket pre-sale was and how much Ticketmaster sucks. It sucks a lot. And how ridiculous the ticket prices are. I'm not saying anyone is wrong, but if anyone has gone to concerts in recent years in the United States, especially for well-known classic rock acts, the Eagles, the Rolling Stones, and even the Who's upcoming tour, you'll know that these ticket prices, while crazy, are still solidly in the ballpark of what they're all charging these days. Of course you're not going to see Paul for the same price that you paid to see Wings in 1979, and of course your tickets to the Beatles were like $6, but you're comparing apples to oranges. Many of us have seen Paul multiple times, and we are so lucky to have been able to. But to say, I've seen him, insert crazy number of times, but this is insane, I refuse, is a slap in the face to those fans who have never been able to see him at all, who either haven't had the means to, or were physically unable to, or for any other reason. At the end of the day, Paul is a businessman. There's a reason he has the largest net worth of any musician out there. And while we all love him and his music that he so generously shared with us for nearly 70 years, he owes us nothing. And regardless of ticket prices, people are going to pay it. Instead of complaining, just be grateful he's still around, that he's still touring and making music, and that he's still giving people the chance to see him in his element. Because he doesn't have to do any of that. He could put his feet up decades ago and have been done. But instead, we're here talking about another leg of the Got Back tour, a new album, and his photography exhibitions. That in itself is pretty incredible. Say it louder for the people in the fucking back. Now, she just posted that 35 minutes ago, and there's already 40 replies on this fucker. And they just span the whole spectrum here. Let us just peruse through. Like, some of them are brief, like, yes, I agree, too much money. And then there's others that, whoops, tapped off of it. Go back. Sorry. I don't think it's so much about complaining or being insulting as it is about being realistic. It's become unrealistic to purchase tickets to most of these shows, unless that is your one passion and you're willing to spend all your discretionary money there. I've seen Paul 4 times, including his desert trip in 2016. I only paid $300 to see 6 of the biggest classic rock acts on the planet for that show in Indio. I don't know. When I went out to purchase a ticket to Nashville and found the ticket prices for standing room only for $1,200 to $2,500, I was very disappointed, but kind of expecting to be. So I said no thank you, I'll keep my memories and let other people have these spots if they want to spend that money. I understand that everything costs more today, I understand that he has a shelf life, if you will, and that this is probably the last time I will get an opportunity to see him in North America. All of that comes at a cost, and some of us just weren't willing to pay that cost. Others were. Not right or wrong, just is what it is. This person is neglecting the elephant in the room that is Ticketmaster's dynamic pricing. This is not just a Paul thing. This is not just a Paul thing. So, part of the problem is that Paul could have opted out on that. He could have had the set baseline price. He didn't. You know why? Because he doesn't have to. Because he knows no matter what he sets his prices at, people will pay it. There will always be a market for any amount he charges. Not all of us have that kind of money to throw at it. Like, I'm not going to this tour because I don't have that kind of money. But you know what? For the people who do, good for them! I hope they have a fantastic time. But for those of us who don't, like, we'll live vicariously, and that's cool. But to blame him entirely isn't exactly fair either when half the issue is the one that's plaguing pretty much all concerts these days. Why do you think I don't buy tickets through Ticketmaster? I use Vivid Seats personally. No, not sponsored. But you do get stuff cheaper through there and there's no dynamic pricing bullshit. But I digress. Anyway, moving right along. The online ticket sales for his tours have always been unfair. Good times when we used to line up at Tower Records for tickets. Sir, how the fuck old are you if we are talking that far back? You have not even seen him in this century. Holy shit! Like, since 2000, that has not been a thing. I'm sorry, but like, bro. I would love to see Paul in Des Moines. I've seen him 17 times, last being 3 times in 2019. The reason I'm not going this time is because I have a little dog that has seizures and I can't leave her. I refuse to board her and my other dog because they would both be so scared, especially both having vision problems. So, not going has to do with my responsibilities to my pets. But don't think I wouldn't love to see him again, I would. Nobody's criticizing this. There is nothing wrong with that. Real life comes first. No one brought that into the discussion. But, go off. Like you said, I am beyond thankful he is still sharing his music and through live concerts. So excited! 3 venues this time. God, it must be nice to have that kind of money to blow. I totally agree with you. When I posted the prices I had paid for tickets in the past, I was in no way saying that's how much they should be now. I know it's not the 60s anymore, and I hope on this tour there are a whole lot of people seeing him for the first time because I feel everyone should see him at least once. I've seen him 10 times solo, and every time has been a wonderful experience. My friend and I set a budget for how much we are going to spend, and tickets are considerably out of that range. Maybe later on I can find 2 tickets, but right now we just can't pay that much. I'm sad, but hopeful. See, that's fair. That's based. The problem isn't Paul, it's Ticketmaster. Boom! There you go. People are saying it. So many ticket buyers complained when it was Taylor Swift, and they were blaming her and insulting her. About 10 years ago, my wife and daughter were invited to purchase normal price tickets for one performance to see Taylor. The tickets would be in the pit. My wife and my daughter chose the concert the day after her birthday in March. They had seen Taylor the night of her birthday in December. Anyway, the pit wasn't very crowded, and they got to hang out with her backup dancers while Ed Sheeran was on stage as the opening act. They had an amazing time. Ed even gave them a pick. Fast forward a decade, and the same type of tickets would have cost 60 to 70 times as much. Needless to say, that wasn't going to happen. Springsteen caught a lot of flack when he raised his prices about 3 years ago. Bruce and Taylor both analyzed the secondary market and realized why would they sell tickets for $100 when people turn around and sell them for $2,000. I've seen Paul every tour since 1989, and we got into the pre-sale, but so far we haven't committed to purchasing. We are both 63, but not sure if we want to drive 360 miles to either Buffalo or Pittsburgh. We go to both places every year for football games and hockey games and to visit family. I don't blame Paul nor Ticketmaster, it's what the market will bear. We just saw Ringo at Radio City in New York City, and had great floor seats, but the prices were dwarfed by Paul's. No shit. It's Ringo. Ringo does not charge Paul prices. Everyone would laugh at him. There was one out here in San Francisco several years back. He tried to. They had to cancel it because nobody bought tickets because nobody's paying that for Ringo. Sorry, I love him dearly, but no one's paying that for Ringo. He knows better. I think the issue has more to do with the flex pricing that Ticketmaster uses. There you go. It skirts the line of illegal price gouging. technically legal, it is ethically questionable, particularly the near monopoly they have on the market. I have tickets to see Oasis in London next month. I ordered through Ticketmaster UK, and in spite there have been literally millions in the queue at release time, I paid the listed price on the tickets plus fees. They were only like £3 per ticket. I had $495 stone tickets a few years ago that cost me $600 after the Ticketmaster fees, because this type of predatory pricing is not allowed there. I've been in pricing professionally for 20 years now. I am all for maximizing profit, literally my job, but what they do is corporate greed. Yes, we have established that. I am not trying to make any excuses for what is going on here, but I was talking to someone who works in the ticket industry, and he says the high prices are being demanded by the artist and their management to prevent reselling of tickets. In other words, by charging $1,000 for a ticket, even if it's through dynamic pricing, it shuts out the ticket, scalping agencies who simply cannot afford to spend that much money in the hopes of selling it for 1 or 2 times face value. I'm not saying that makes it right, I'm just saying that is what some people are feeling the reasoning is. I personally don't think this is a terribly effective strategy, and it certainly does play into the idea that there is a large money-making machine going on here, but I did want to give out what at least one person from one of the legal ticket resale agencies was telling me. And then somebody replied to that with, well, true, but then Ticketmaster themselves are doing the same thing as scalpers. And then the first person replied with, I 100% agree with you. As I said, I don't believe it to be an effective strategy, but I just wanted to let people know what some people are theorizing that I hadn't seen out on the board yet. Another person commented, Taylor Swift did this 2 tours ago, not just the last crazed tour. Her people actually put about 6 different stages on a football field, and then sold multiple front rows, etc. The prices were so high that the secondary market was the same or less than the primary market. Someone said, if you are so proud of your comment, then why hide behind no name? Gee, I don't know, because guys like this take cheap shots at literally anyone who does post under their name, and fuck them, that's why. It's the fees on top of ticket prices, unreal. 2 tickets anything over $800 each, and fees around $500 plus, then add taxes on top of that. Crazy. Another one just says, Amen. However, their profile picture is the bloody ear Trump photo, so I mean, I only agree with them so far. I only bought tickets because this may be Paul's last tour. This could be a bit better since he's already worth about $1.3 billion. I know that Paul McCartney is a legend and he's worth a lot to see him, but the price of tickets could have been better, letting more fans be able to see him. The man has, 5 children, at least 8 grandchildren. He's setting up his estate to pay for all of them for life. So you can say that, but, sorry, yeah, the rich take care of their own. So you don't have to like it, but that's the fact of the matter. Ticket prices have increased exponentially way faster than inflation. It's not a matter of tickets used to cost X and now they cost Y. It's more like tickets used to cost 2 hours of my wages, now they cost a week of my wages. Depends what kind of work you do. For some industries, that is more like a month of their wages. Someone says, blame dynamic pricing in the resale market. Yes, artists can circumvent the system, and I appreciate it when they do, but there's a lot of hassle involved in doing that. Anyone know what the actual face value ticket prices were or are? Once Ticketmaster puts in their dynamic pricing, it's when things go nuts. By the way, as a side note, can we talk about that long-ass queue system? Some of the screenshots I was seeing were in the hundreds of thousands of people ahead of you, and then they'd quickly drop if you just waited 10-15 minutes, but it was insane. This one, God, I love it. I cannot see how you can compare Paul with The Who and the Eagles. He is a Beatle! I'll agree, the Eagles suck, but the Who are equal, so sorry. Somebody's like, he's Paul McCartney. No shit! We've established that. Somebody's like, I can kind of see that comparison, but to compare with Robert Smith, who I really like, no shade, but who virtually none of my friends have ever heard of, is kind of iffy. Lol. There's another person who mentioned Robert Smith in here somewhere, but I'm not seeing that comment yet. Another one. You're right, people will certainly pay anything to see him. I was fortunate enough to go see him twice last year, and someone 2 seats along was using Shazam on most of the songs to find out what was being played. Holy shit! Oh, so many people I know missed out on those tickets, and you've got people who will pay big bucks just to see Hey Jude and leave. Holy shit. I remember seeing Paul at the old Dallas Cowboys stadium in the 80s. We arrived in Dallas early, so we decided to go shopping at a nearby mall. In one of the shops, we heard a clerk complaining about having to go see Paul and not really into it. Her date had front row seats! Slap. Slap. That's all I can say. Another one. I would add to the people who say, I decided not to get tickets because Paul's voice is gone, or the set list is the same. Okay, I'll admit, he could or should change it up a bit. Please don't. There are others here that are paying good money and are going for the first time, and it's discouraging to hear remarks like that. Makes one second-guess themselves for having bought tickets. Must admit, I felt that for a moment after reading several comments on other sites. Paul's shows were amazing. If you are in this group, you are hopefully more than just a casual fan. To be in the presence and hear the legend, it's special. Just do it. I have a foot in both worlds. Because on one hand, yeah, his voice is shot and it is gone, and that is especially why I really can't justify the kind of prices he's now charging, because I'm sorry, I'm just not willing to when that voice is gone. But, on the other hand, I see what they're saying. Don't ruin it for the people who are going. This is largely why I just sit down and shut up most of the time with these tours, and I don't even make videos, because, like, yeah, I could, but I mean, what more do I have to contribute that I haven't already said the last several tours? Like, really right now. I'm a broken record at this point, but I'm not the only one saying this stuff. But I get their point. Just because many other bands are charging the same exorbitant prices doesn't make it right. I've been front row for Foo Fighters several times and paid $175 a ticket for it. That was in 2023 and 2024. Yeah, that's because the Foo Fighters suck. I had floor seats for Paul in 2012 and paid $250. Ma'am, that was 13 years ago! Artists can control these prices to some extent if they try. Fact is, he isn't trying. No shit, he's not trying! Do you see the shows he puts on? The pyrotechnics, the stage crew, his band, all the touring. Like, I'm sorry, no, like, I actually defend that he does charge these insane prices even if I'm priced out. You know what? I would do the same goddamn thing if I were him. I get it. I get it. It's like, if you can get it, fucking get it. Like, anyway. Okay, I am confused. Paul charges too much? The way I heard it, Ticketmaster charges too much. Paul cares for the bottom line. Paul does this because he loves his fans. What am I not getting? The wording of that made my brain hurt. I don't think the issue is anything against fans who are able to buy and get tickets, much less against fans who've never seen Paul before. It's more that Ticketmaster's price gouging should be downright criminal. It should. They take advantage of people's nostalgia and love for music to rake in millions. Especially if you've never seen your favorite artist perform live, you shouldn't have to sell a freaking kidney to be in the same arena as them. Somebody under that, I have a kidney for sale. Agree, it's the ticket agencies and not the artists. Has nothing to do with Paul. It's Ticketmaster and other scalpers who put these prices. They know there is demand and charge these ridiculous prices. Paul gets paid what his management asks for, and the rest is Ticketmaster and the venue. Somebody responds to that. Well, I don't understand the industry, but even with that as a premise, Paul gets paid what his management asks, Ticketmaster and the venue take it from there. I have to say that it would seem an artist like Paul could use his incredible clout to put a clamp on that ridiculously greedy pricing. I think I remember reading about other artists in the past, from Neil Young, Tom Petty, and more, who stood up to greedy record industry practices so that their albums or concert prices could be within reach of most of their fans. Yeah, but that doesn't mean everyone's going to do that just because they can, just because you feel they should. I'm sorry, doesn't mean they're going to. Thank you! Paul probably gets the face value of the ticket before the fees are added, and he must pay everybody else before he pays himself. That's it! I paid way more to see Bruce Springsteen! And Springsteen sucks too. Nosebleeds for over $1,100? Appalling! You should see the California prices, bitches! If you think $1,100 is bad, oh, just look up the prices for that. I saw some prices go for like 10, 15,000 for the California dates. That's why I'm not going, but I digress. I saw him on this very same tour 3 years ago in Syracuse, New York. I had great seats in the lower bowl near the stage for around $300. This time, I am in the back nosebleed seats for about $800 a seat. It is ridiculous. I would have said no, but my niece likes the Beatles and has never seen Paul. What changed in 3 years? Dynamic pricing! I was at Syracuse. Hot sound package. Few grand down there. I agree with most of it. As for these prices, in 2023, I got to see The Cure in San Diego, California. I paid $30 per ticket in Ticketmaster, so it can be done. The concert was 2.5 hours nonstop, and it was awesome. Are we really trying to compare Paul McCartney to The Cure? David, don't kill me, but, like, I'm sorry, you cannot put these two on the same playing field. You can't. Somebody says, 100% agree. Robert Smith knows how to care for his fans. Paul knows how to care for his bottom line. Not knocking the guy for it, but it's a fact. They're not wrong. Great perspective. I just watched a video from 1963. I saw her standing there. Still get the goosebumps. Paul is a living legend, and I'm so thankful he's touring one more time. Just to be in the same arena with him is magical. See, there's that, and I get that. I know damn well it is very probably his last tour. I get that. I acknowledge it. I get that that's why some people are more than willing to throw down the big bucks. No shame to them. Totally understand it. On the other hand, you can't knock those of us who are being realistic and like, I just can't swing that when he sounds the way he does. He literally can't even sing Yesterday anymore. He doesn't even include it because of it. There's a lot of songs he physically cannot sing anymore, and that's where I'm like, I love him dearly, but holy shit, I really wish he would preserve what's left of his voice for studio albums and nothing else like Elton John is doing, but it's not up to me now, is it? Now, we're down towards the end of the thread. Thank God we're over 20 minutes in. Here's the one that I was seeing earlier. I'd buy that if artists like Robert Smith of The Cure didn't exist. Same venue as McCartney, and the cheapest tickets for McCartney were more than the most expensive for The Cure. Both huge artists. One of them is simply more greedy. Again, you cannot compare these two. They are not apples to apples. You cannot compare 80s emo boy to Paul McCartney, a fucking Beatle. I'm sorry, you can't. It's not the same thing. That's just... You know damn well the cognitive dissonance you are trying to start here. Just stop. Just stop! And people are replying to it with, Paul and The Cure, really no comparison. Pathetic. I should have left that comment, but anyway. You, Paul can do no wrong crowd are hilarious, and yes, The Cure generally puts on even longer shows than Paul. Paul has pyro for one song, and since 1977, so yeah, that only almost 50-year legacy is nothing. I'm sorry, Paul puts on like 3 or 3.5 hour long shows, so what exactly are you saying here? Jesus Christ. And the next one down. Does Robert Smith play for 3 hours? Does he have pyro? Does he have a horn section? Have fans grow up with him since 1964? The fucking discourse back and forth is so catty, and I'm like, give me my fucking popcorn right now. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Anyway. There was extremely high demand for Cure tickets on their last tour, which is exactly why Robert took a stand and wouldn't accept unreasonable ticket prices, and even had Ticketmaster go back and refund exorbitant fees. I love Paul as much as anyone in this group, but to defend these prices is just hilarious to me. Again, that's great that Robert Smith is that upstanding of an individual to where he feels the need to do that. However, not everyone is the same person and not everyone has the same values. Please stop. It's supply and demand. Robert Smith has nowhere near the amount of fans that Sir Paul has. The fact that Paul has he is 83 makes a lot of people think, I need to see him one more time, or I finally need to see him for the first time. That is why we saw Ringo for the third time in 2019. He's 85, and each time could be it. Same reason we saw Brian Wilson, who was in bad shape, and we saw Neil Diamond right before he said he couldn't do it anymore. Another person put, No, he hasn't. Paul can and should command. The price what he puts into his shows. If it's too expensive, don't go. I assure you won't be missed. Oh, damn! Shots fucking fired! The Beatles changed music forever. Oasis have been working to keep prices away from insane, too. Are we really comparing Oasis to Paul? Oh my god! I can't! I fucking can't! And the final comment, playing all the same venues. If anything, that furthers my point. If Robert Smith has the power to keep prices reasonable, so does Paul. Sir! The level of fucking entitlement! Oh my god! Oh my god! I just fucking can't. However, let's weigh in the comments. What do you think? Good, bad, or otherwise. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to agree with them. But let's hear it in the comments. Let's do this. Go.